Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ninth episode of the Plight of Princes. Matthew Mercer gets sworn at just before he starts. My friends try to sing and mouth the words to Hamilton songs. So, what comes next is last time we played, these bunch of beautiful little bastards had made their way back to the city of Neverwinter in the land of Faerun after the provincial capital, Neverwinter itself, had been attacked by Githyanki in such a notoriously powerful force that the city is still reeling. The party had been sent to collect several artifacts from around Faerun.
Russians.
The Gith are not Russian.
They could be.
Just there comes the ship, all squatting on top of it, just over the ledge. Bleep! Anyway.
That's the Polish.
Polish, Russian, what's the difference? Anyway.
Stanji comes flying in. Triggered.
Good, we'll get some commentary in the chat then. That's excellent, and I can just ban him. Anyway, they arrived back to Faerun, to Neverwinter, having been sent out by the King and Queen in Neverwinter, essentially bringing back one of the spires of Lekith. Each one of these spires is individually tied to one of the 8 schools of magic, is the theorization. They've already encountered one for transmutation, and now they have encountered evocation. When evocation was returned, the Queen, Legacy, who is a tiefling and definitely not an arch-pirate, and definitely not the daughter of Asmodeus, was teleported away after using it. She then seemed to have a revelation once she was within, and shortly after, she was interrupted by a figure in the far corner of the room, which she turned and cast a spell at. An eruption of a fireball occurred, and there stood a Githyanki, who came to attempt to bargain for one of the spires in return of one of the people that was taken away during the initial attack by the Githyanki, be it trapped in a temporary dimension or...
That was two spires for 2 people.
We technically only had one to hand. The other one, it was
only one was on hand.
One was like stored away and wasn't really mentioned in the conversation. We knew we had 2, but she never mentioned a second one. It was always one person for one spire, which is could potentially be important. They may not know we have the other one.
Very true. They could very well not know. So there was essentially a back and forward of constant breaking of give it to me, no, give it to me, no, give it to me, no. Eventually, the Queen was paralyzed on the spot, and essentially like a statuette or a figure under the effect of a whole person was knocked down on her side while she was holding the spire. Then came the most Looney Tunes level nonsense that I've seen in a while, and honestly, it's a good palate cleanser. Yes, Curls, you're up, fucker. As Posey, the party bloodhunter, pulled a straight up Bilbo Baggins by putting on... Shut up, Kay, you whore!
We continue to have conversations without speaking. Carry on.
0 words.
No.
I was muted, but I still said 0 words.
And I heard every one of them.
The cluster is strong tonight.
It's giving me a headache. I've not even started. So, Posey put on the ring of invisibility and snuck under essentially a large table under which most of the conversations were being had. The party then proceeded to Looney Tunes their way around to distract the Githyanki, whilst Posey got the spire for Kith and got the ever-loving fuck out of there, using a Misty Step and bolting down the corridor. Runara, having stepped outside at this point, decided to call for help. Having called over to a friend Huzar, a Gith Zerai that they had encountered further up north. He told them to buy them time, which the party was in the process of doing their best to stall, to buy as much time as possible. They were delaying by trying to set up contracts, by all the niggly bits which clearly this Githyanki had no interest of dealing with. A pompous princess who was expecting just a simple transaction then proceeded to say fine, and with a snap of fingers, a rift opened up over the Bay of Neverwinter, and a single object dropped into the bay. And she then decreed that you had 10 days. After this, and after a long discussion, a lot of stalling from outside to actually stop paperwork from being signed by Runara, the Githyanki began to cough. Blood. Looking down to what you could see was a hole in her chest, as her heart was being held in a hand and crushed. In that moment, that teal green hand pulling back through the chest was Huzar, who reached in for something at his pouch. A black crystal, in that it was in the shape of a crystal, the most simple design you could think of for it, but it was pure black, but more like black glass than it was an obsidian deep color. It was spun into the air, as do all of the Githyanki that have fallen in the material plane. The soul shot straight back as if to go to more or less ascending out of the plane. However, it was pulled back in with a scream into the crystal. The Githyanki then shattered the crystal, which crumpled away. The remnants of the Gith left as this almost beginning to calcified body that just crumbled away around the Githyanki's hand, or the Githzerai's hand. As he stood there now in the room, alone, the spell falls off of Legacy, and Legacy is no longer paralyzed on the ground. Dust and white smoke covering over the area on the far side of the table to all of you is the Gith. He's holding the remnants of the black shard just crumbling out of his hand. And that is one. As he looks about the room, the one who sent me a message is not here, is she? Renara's not in the room.
King's like, I have no idea who messaged you, although in future negotiations, maybe a ceasefire would be at least temporary one, would be more appropriately discussed. Anyway, glad to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to have been welcomed here by this situation, then. And as they're speaking, this kind of calmness to the voice is slightly broken as they're just more or less wiping their hand away from black powder and dust that have just culminated onto the ground and around their feet, just trying to wipe it off of the hands. Legacy is snarling as she pulls herself up. Who are you? Why did you just kill them? Give me answers. She glares over towards the Githzerai, who pulls back a hood, and you can see that the section at the back of his neck, there's this kind of white indenting, almost as if there were lines that had been filled with chalk, is the only way to describe the coloration. Down the neck to the collarbone, underneath the robes, on both sides and around the back, it's like a spider's web going down that kind of knits up at the top, almost like a veil that's only just like at the back of the neck, or like a portion of chainmail, but ingrained white coloring, as if a tattoo or something similar built in. My name is Huzar.
Really?
I am a Githzerai, and I and my people are a rival to the Githyanki, one of whom was the person who is stood here today. who I have disposed of. I'm just picturing one of the guards is just what Spook is doing in the corner. Oh my days, did he just? Oh my. I'm trying to get a lighter humor to it, that's all. So, one of your number who I had met previously along with several of the adventurers here sent me a message saying that there was one of the Gith Yankee here in this town. Given the fact that if only one were here, or that they were here at all, I saw it potentially important to investigate, especially due to the request for aid. And, whilst I can assure you, me and mine have no quarrel, nor wish for any ill will towards your kin, this was an opportunity to at very least show that my intentions towards you are at best benign.
Because we don't know that's a... Okay, yeah,
At this point, Sildar leans forward. This... Sylvie. He leans forward. So you had to... So I take it you and these Gith, you rival each other in some way, and that there's two different types of you, something that I did not know, so at least I have that information to me now. As you can see, we're clearly not going to get any information from her, as he points to the mound of powder. So I suppose it is fair to ask you, or anyone else here who's keen to chime in, what exactly she and hers are compared to what you happen to be in the situation. He folds his hands behind his back and straightens his posture, gives a bow to both Sildar and Legacy, looking at how most of the room seems to be gravitating. If you wish, once my people had fought against mind flayers, forced into their servitude, as I believe the annals of your plane's histories do dictate that the Drow and others had once been made servitude to them. In a similar vein, we rose up, and now we actively hunt and seek out to destroy mind flayers. Whilst you could understand this is a universally beneficial thing, the servants of Lakith saw to dictate away from the plans and edicts of Gith. In doing so, betraying Gith, she trying to become the greater power, the Gith Zerai, who still kept to Gith's intent, oppose in this way. If we do not, if we allow Lakith to simply lord over her realms and expand her interests to whatever she deems, that Archlich could bode great peril to many things. Whilst we could never challenge her directly, her smaller forces are things that we can contest with, harry, rout, and keep away from our own holdings. They are the aggressive expanders, forever cheating with time in different planes to expand her forces in what would be minuscule days to other planes. And to answer your question to her, as he points to the ground, this is one of the daughters of Lakith. She will no doubt make more, but not by the means you may think. As he reaches down to the ground and moves through the dust and pulls up a single small blue crystal, simulacrums. Small fragments of her own soul being made into additionals, a craft she has mastered more or less. A slower process because she makes them more powerful than what the mundane could be, and given the power of a simulacrum's, even the effort to make one, should say it all. Annie, fuck off! I don't care you're a horny lesbian.
called out live on the stream, called out.
Clip it, send it to her.
Annie!
Aye. Carry on.
Ooh.
God damn it, Bobby. It's not him, it's her! If someone else hits me a fucking ping, I'm gonna slap them. She makes them to serve as anchor points for her. She allows them to move about planes and otherwise. They are her voice. Through her, she can see. Through her, they can cast. They're a portion of her soul. So, disposing of one in this way is something that she can now no longer recover.
Of course, I can't build fuck all because they've already blocked off our bloody base.
It is a way she weakens herself to expand her own forces, but if they are just destroyed, the portions go back to her.
So much stuff for the British.
Hence why I used
Yeah.
a soul cage.
Nah, the Russians are just.
Essentially, similar to the astral plane, if someone were to project to it, a thread is made between 2 points, the body and soul. In this situation, she has artificially created a means that, like a band being pulled, if one is snapped on one end, the tension broke, it all goes back to the other side. This breaks the thread and then destroys the end, preventing her from recovering some. It is barbaric. However, when it comes to fighting an archlich who works alongside the forces akin to Tiamat and other terrible chromatic individuals, and has entire slots of red dragons who are at her command, barbaric and underhanded is sometimes necessary.
I'm just gonna go get a drink in 2 seconds.
So I suppose it is fair now for me not to drag along too long in case any of you have more pressing questions.
You wouldn't happen to know what could have come out of a portal and like take 10 days to gestate?
Please understand that I will say this as a diplomatic means. I did not like the fact that you had to use the word gestate.
Germinate, I mean,
+6, 7 to Arcana, okay.
But,
So, as you ask the question, aside from nothing good, if it has been told to you that it takes a period of time to actually build and develop itself, I would recommend you prevent it from having any time to do so, and if you may have a means of finding it and destroying it, I would recommend you do that quickly.
Alright, everybody on the wheel. Let's go.
It's
yeah, we
here.
have duty to attend, it seems. Sorry for cutting this short. Needless to say, this contract is null and void, is incomplete. I tear it in half with my hand and a mage hand. We must be on our way.
By all means, I do not know of whatever this entity may be. However, anything that takes time to germinate, more or less like a seed, or hatch out of an egg to an equivalent, should probably be cracked while it's still in there.
Good idea indeed.
If you don't mind, I may still discuss with the King and Queen while you are away.
I would recommend it highly. I would also recommend perhaps leaving some copy of that soul cage spell if it is not something we
It
know
is not
at
a
this rate.
spell, it is an item, and they are very difficult to craft.
Fair enough.
If you happen to have powerful arcanist wizards amongst you, we may actually be able to discuss crafts in that fashion. And Legacy just starts smiling and goes, I'll make a call to my father.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Dad.
Dad, can I
Dad,
have money?
Dad.
Dad, I want to make a soul cage.
Dad,
Like coming up to your dad going, Dad, I want to do crystal meth.
I'm sorry, just picture, Dad, I want to make a soul cage, and he goes, finally she's taking over the family business.
Family business.
Wow, that's dark.
But true.
I mean,
Meanwhile,
sounds
Sildar
odious.
is just in the corner going,
I'm
please
out
go
of
out
my
into the
depth.
bay and please go out into the bay and destroy whatever that is so that it does not murder most of my people, please. That would be appreciated.
Yes, as academically fascinating as that bit of necromancy surely is, we must be off.
Right, anyone know where Runara and Posey are?
Let's try.
Meanwhile,
No.
Meanwhile,
Posey, did you leave with the ring on?
So, if Runara, because I saw Runara as I was going, I will literally grab Runara's hand, be invisible. Me and the spy are invisible, but I will literally pull Runara with me. But I'm running.
It's
Runara,
happening, they're eloping.
Finally.
Finally.
I wish that's where we were going.
They got the ring, they're off.
A ring, a stolen spire, we're ready to go.
Okay, let's do it.
Something old, something new, something borrowed, see?
Something blue.
See-
Hurry up, blue. Come on.
Hey! Don't
up.
forget your bird!
Right. Yeah, I'm going. I'm
you
dragging
going to where we
Runara.
talked about? Yeah.
I'm going to safe house.
Yeah, you keep running, you keep running, you keep running, and you're pulling Renara along with you. Renara, this is pretty much the equivalent of just being literally dragged. You are literally being dragged, and you're just trying to keep up with her. You just feel like it's almost like an iron grip equivalent to your hand, where she's not the strongest person, but she is holding you like a deathlock, and running and running and running. And after maybe 30 minutes or so, you get out closer towards the dock area to some of the more older houses, some of which may not have been as damaged during the actual attack on Neverwinter, but there's scores of people who are more or less living under tent and canopy kind of situations, watching you just like running as if your arms pointed out in a direction. And eventually you get to this small shack that's been barred up over time. Several of the boards have been pulled away, and there is light from the inside.
There is.
Yes, there is.
Fuck. I go to the window.
You look in, and there's about 6 people, two adults and 4 children.
That makes sense, but also shit. I will just go into the alley
Okay.
that's next to it.
You
I
pull Renara into the alley that's next to it.
I'll drop invisibility.
Drop invisibility.
What? Oh, you've got that?
Yup.
That's what happened.
Yes.
Do you think she's looking for us? Or you?
Yes.
Shit. Hopefully
yup.
my help gets there quick. I called for help.
There was help.
I called to help.
Why didn't you tell me there was help? I wouldn't have done this.
I didn't know where you were.
I was.
I don't know. I don't know how long help's gonna be. They said they come in, but I don't know how long.
I didn't. I didn't think this far. Would you believe me if you said I had a plan in the moment?
Yeah.
There was the short-term plan, and then there was the getaway part, and we've done that now.
And now
And
we're away.
the place where I was
Fine.
gonna get
Good.
away to, I just gotta put my hand on the side of the house, is being used.
Used by who?
Other people.
Are they allowed to? Is it not yours? Who's that?
I mean, it's not mine. It was my friend's, but I was living there since he.
Yeah. That word. Okay.
Yep.
That other word that starts with D, not disappeared, but okay.
Yeah. I was staying there, and I haven't been back since everything went bad, so people were using it, and that makes sense, and that's good. I personally wouldn't. I'm glad they. I hope there was nothing left in there.
Okay, interesting. We'll unpack that.
This is what it feels like, Kay, with Sal. This is what it feels like.
Oh, I know. Do we need
We'll
somewhere
unpack.
else to hide?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is there any other huts around here that are empty that we can just?
Probably not.
Not breaking it. No, let's not break it.
No, I wasn't negotiating the break-in part, but they're probably all being used by other people who have already broken in. Because I'm waving the spy around. Because
Yes. Yeah. Other stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people were displaced, of course.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All the places I know that are safe were either destroyed or are being used.
There's not going to be a temple to Corona in Neverwinter, is there?
If there is, it's part of a set of other, like say, it would be a smaller temple that has many dwarven deities within.
Shrines to other deities. Would I know if there is one? Like, I've been. What?
You've been here a very small number of times, but if you were, it was probably one of the more well-to-do places, where they were setting up people who were visiting from long distances, and that may or may not have been bombed.
Fair. That's that one off the table.
You go, don't worry, we could go too, and you look at a crater.
Well, for now, I'm gonna just start climbing onto the roof.
Wait.
What was my house?
While this is going on, I'm just gonna ask the group that's still with us, that's all together, going, does anyone have a way of messaging or contacting those two, so we can find out where they're at?
I was going to say it because I'm paying attention, but Lo most definitely isn't. He's been disassociating and hyperventilating in a.
Wait, that reminds me. We never went to the school where I sent the maids, did we?
Nope.
It's also not here. We straight up skipped where that was, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I do not have Cat with me. Cat is currently chilling in another city. I have no way of contacting them.
Oh, actually, also, would I have noticed that, the spire that Legacy was holding is not in her hand anymore?
Yeah, but there's mostly like an epilogue going on here right now, so that's kind of like there's been a narration.
Yeah,
so
we'll address this later.
So as that conversation, I will say, while your conversation is happening, they're doing this. So when you guys get to the point of, hey, where are you? Just see Legacy turn, and Posey, you hear a voice in your head. Do you still have it?
What?
Wait, is everything okay? Is there someone else up there?
Yeah, no, everything's fine.
This is all coming from the message.
Excellent. Bring it back immediately. You know who this is.
I need a boost. Like, I'm not very good at climbing. Can you help me
I
up?
will help.
I suppose I could.
As I'm doing that, I'm just like, no.
Wait, but you don't want to help me, or?
No, I'm helping you.
Then why?
God,
I'm giving you.
What would I skywrite?
It's mostly becoming nighttime, so not much.
Good point.
Actually, no, I take that
Actually,
back.
no, we got here at the start of the day.
You got here at the start of the day. It'd be past noon.
Maybe midday. Yeah.
It's probably closer to midday, like 1 o'clock. Actually, after everything, about 2 or 3, actually.
I was just talking to Widdick. What would I skywrite?
Why is she not bringing it back? Your little rose friend had it.
She's probably hiding because she doesn't know that the bad person's gone yet.
I'm literally sending her messages to bring it back.
I mean, being the way you were just paralyzed and stuff, I suppose mind control isn't out of the question.
trust me, giving me mind control is literally just going to give whoever tried a nosebleed.
At any rate,
So she does
hope
have the
they're
spire.
looking at the sky.
There's few fake clouds in the sky. You can look out the massive window that looks over most of the dock or the harbor.
I'm gonna start doing the ritual for skywrite. Somebody figure out what I'm supposed to write.
Dear Princess Posy.
Get your ass back here.
What are you doing?
You stupid bitch, bring it back. Bring back my stick.
Gone. She's gone. She's gone. She's gone. She's gone. She's gone. No, that's a good start. That's a good start. That's a good start. But,
I can use Monstron up to 120 miles a day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I just disband or not disband,
But you can only summon him
missed.
once per day, right?
Did I put it down that he's only summonable once a day?
I think we spoke about this, which is
we
why
spoke
we're
about it, but
going
it
to spend the
doesn't
night
actually
here.
stay in the actual thing that it's only summoned.
I
once
may
a
have
day.
said it vocally, but if I give it a cap of being able to be summoned twice a day, but no matter what, you have a cap on how much you can use it a day. I think I'll keep with that ruling of you can summon it twice.
I would assume it's just the same as the feather token, but I can't remember what the feather token's ruling is.
Well, the feather tokens are technically a one-time use, and then they're gone.
I will
The one
say
from
that you could
Feather.
use it twice a day. However, if Monstrum is ever brought to 0 hit points, he cannot be used until the next dawn.
Right.
Basically, knock out the whale, whale go net.
The second time you summon him, he summons with the same hit points and same travel distance left.
Yes.
Exactly
yes,
the same
yes.
state. You spin them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally just a case of putting your
Recharges overnight.
whale lord in a Pokeball.
Because basically from there to there was about 40 miles. So yeah. Okay. I guess what I was thinking about doing was just going. All right, let's just go outside, get on the whale, and I'll just use locate object
On the spire?
on the fucking spire. Or actually, no, I won't summon Monstrum because I have Garb. Whistle.
It's weird. He doesn't have lips. It's metal, but he puts them together and it's a perfect whistle.
Well, I see everybody else do this, but I just use Steam. Just.
It's just a steam.
He
And
actually installed a whistle into his lower
Yeah.
jaw.
I was going to say, I had cannon that has got a
He's just
whistle.
pushing it down and
Like-
it passes air through it.
That's cool, but I kind of like, I'm just kind of more picturing like he just has like he lifts his arm up and like a tag comes down and you pull it down and like steam comes up like a old-fashioned steam train whistle. Like, doo, doo.
No, headcanon that it's a whistle that Roman gave him and installed that
Yes.
the
Yes.
moon pigs all had.
Yeah, that's
we
how
all-
I have to
did
activate
we
it.
all have
Shit, I
whistles?
forgot we had whistles.
Kika has it. She has one.
Kika has the one, yeah.
She got given one.
It works even though she doesn't have lips.
It's in her inventory.
Very notably, it does work even if she doesn't have lips. So
Well, you know
there
how
go.
birds are. Nostrils. She plugs one, puts the whistle in the other.
Fuck, I knew you were going to do that. Stop. This is the groove.
There will come an epic moment in this setting, and you will go.
I'll be like, nothing happened.
So how
Can't
does
see
a bird
anything.
blow a whistle like this? Funk.
Bring an end to this.
I'm trying.
I think too much about bird things.
So, Wittig, you blow some hot steam, and as you do, you hear guards from outside go, "Oh dear God!" As just a wolf storms in, has at least 2 spears in its side because you didn't tell anyone. So as it was coming up, basically it got impaled and just kept going, and there's one guard still holding on, very confused, and they're still there behind you all. Okay, you get like an extra raise for the month because you literally held on to a giant metal wolf. Well done.
Yeah,
I think I
as
go,
like
"Yes!"
as Garb comes into the door, just. Sorry.
I had 10 words to do a
I'll be like,
skywrite. It needed to show that it wasn't me sending the message. So I included a pun.
6:30. Best time, 6:30. Hands down. Come back, pitch dead. Renara, as you're lifted back onto
Neverwinter can see.
Yes. As... Now there's a rumor going around that Legacy is dead.
Oh no.
There's a lot of very confused... There's some very confused people around Neverwinter for the rest of the day until Legacy will eventually poke out and go... Sometimes we can still hear her voices.
Think people could kill me?
You cannot kill me in a way that matters.
I feel like you just there was like a everyone was reading. You know, everyone looks at this guy like a collective. When they realize, it's a clock pun.
Posey, do you think that's for us?
The problem is, you both probably have to make an intelligence check to get the pun.
Yeah, we're both dumb as shit. Do we know what this is?
Make an intelligence check.
Renara, with our one brain.
And then nothing.
Intelligence? Do I have that?
Just click on the...
No.
That's some weird
Somehow.
words in the sky.
There are no brain cells on the street today.
Sometimes, Posey, I think the clouds look like unicorns and stuff. Sometimes
That's
that
weird.
works.
That one looks like a clock. What does it mean?
I mean, yeah. There is some crazy shit you can see in the clouds sometimes.
What do you think it
Wait,
means?
Like
You
whales.
cast-
See, that one, I think that looks like a rabbit.
I got
Yeah, I see it.
locate object.
You get a ping because it's within a mile. Or 1,000 feet, or
Alright,
whichever
let's
it
go,
is.
Garm.
It's
Yeah.
not too far away. This time, there's more sounds of guards panicking, but now they go, "Fucking Whittock!"
Sorry.
You make noises now to go, "Get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way!" And just one poor person who just hears, "My goodness," as you're just storming through. Anyone who wants to follow, good luck following, but you can try. Follow straight on through. And eventually, Whittock makes his way.
Right here.
And there's some
Making my way.
very terrified people inside houses as a giant wolf that's made of metal and lightning with a giant metal man with steam coming out of him storms down the path and is basically approaching where you guys are. Posey, Renara, it's fucking Whittock. You can't hide that bastard. He's huge.
Especially a metal wolf in the daylight.
I
it's
turn
Whittock.
invisible.
Wait, come back.
Renara, you look at her where she is while you're still holding her hand. Like Poe and
As
Finn,
I-
except one goes invisible.
I look up, going, Posey, I know you're there. I have the ping. Now, would you please get on this metal wolf? We have something to go kill in the lake.
Let's see.
See, whatever.
Lake of the world.
Yes.
Yeah, the big salty like.
Wait, we got to kill something?
Big salty soup.
What happened up there?
Your friend showed up.
Good. Did he help?
Yes. The
Good.
soul, apparently it's a simulacrum. It's dead now.
What's the particular Marak?
Basically, from the way he said it, it's basically a part of fucking Blackhead's soul being used to be a human or something. Whatever they are. I don't care. Anyway.
Terrified citizens everywhere.
Ooh, that's a...
Everywhere
sorry,
around
everyone.
you.
Now, there's a thing that we need to go get rid of. So if you would please get onto the giant metal wolf, then we can get the rest of the party, and then we could go do this, and then we'd be done.
Where are we going specifically?
We're going to be getting on the whale and going into the water.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Renara, can you swim?
Not a lot of swimming space underground, so I can float.
You know what? We can work with that, I think.
And this is where we
I'm a great swimmer.
learn. And this is where we learn that Renara is buoyant.
In chat, he's a great swimmer.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Bernard just isn't very buoyant.
Damn it, you got it right!
This is a Final Fantasy meme, guys.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That boy ain't buoyant.
All right. See,
That boy ain't very buoyant.
See, I was
what the boy you're thinking of.
thinking literally. And
Meanwhile-
I was like, well, no, because she wears like heavy armor and stuff, so that's not
Also
very
that.
buoyant. I was thinking literally. I was like, is King buoyant because she has a hollow space?
Yeah.
Kiko's
Yeah,
very
no,
buoyant.
We're buoyant because we're full of air, and
Yeah.
but
I am full
King's
of
just
considerably
open.
less air.
so we'll just
Yeah.
sink.
King's more
Not-
like a barrel with
not
half of
very
it
buoyant.
open, so it gets filled with water and just sinks.
Essentially, it depends what way up they are. They could create like a
Yeah.
vacuum and just.
Like most dead people, I sink until I, get filled with water and eventually
Right.
float. We do
What are
not
we
want to
doing
get to
right
that point.
Don't worry.
Gotcha.
If you sink, you'll be dead with the fishes. So, screw the fishes.
Adds a new stat to D&D, buoyancy.
Do skill check.
Anyway, meanwhile, back in the castle, when they get back, I'll cast a ritual of water breathing, which can work on to 10 people, but that will not help with us swimming.
Shame. Legacy just looks back, Joel.
Stunk.
I have nothing to offer to that. I'm not exact. Whilst I spent many years at sea, I usually made sure other things went in the water, not me.
We'll work it out.
Depends where it hits.
Ritual water breathing, by the way, works for 24 hours, so,
Yep.
it's not like we'll be in a hurry.
Yeah, they got paratroopers.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculously powerful in that way, thankfully.
Whittick, is there room on that thing for both of us?
Should be. Arm's a large
Worst,
creature.
if worst
right?
comes to worst, one can carry in its mouth.
Garm is a large creature, but that is 3 humanoids. Garm will be moving at half speed.
Wait, if we go in, the water's literally right there. Can they come to us? Why don't we go up there on the WoW?
Because it's in the water.
Yeah, but the water's there. The castle's up there. Why don't they come to the water instead of us going up there, then come back down there? Or,
I have no way of contacting them.
well, then why don't we
None
just
of
get on
us
the
know
WoW
where
now?
you are.
Why don't we just get on the
There was
WoW
some sort of
now?
small portable
then-
device that could communicate with each other from long distances.
You need like pearls. Anyway,
Sending stones, I think is what he meant.
Low,
no, I
He
don't
meant
think
link
so.
pearls.
We're getting our universes really mixed up.
yeah. Low still in his weird crisis, whatever it is, will tap on his shoulder where I'm presuming Puck is,
Ow,
and then
too hard, too hard.
sorry, just can you hunt him down?
I mean, at this point, we've already got how many people going off to do it? So, at this point, we're just going to send everyone off on a goose chase. Trust Whittick to be back in a bit.
I'll dismiss Garm.
A scarf disappears in a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Alright, good.
Ooh.
And I'll then.
Neverwinter's been through too much.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty
goodbye,
well my
wolf.
fault.
Whale!
Time for whale.
It really is Final
Well.
Fantasy.
Dun.
Yeah,
Well-
I dismiss one mount and bring in another. You know?
Oh.
Meanwhile, because I would have been looking at some sort of window to do the skyride and all that, I'd probably see the whale and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
see the
that's gonna be a
whale.
problem.
And I'll climb onto the roof because it'll be easier to get onto the whale.
You get onto the roof, get onto the whale. The whale does lean down to let you guys up. Does everyone go up on the whale?
Begrudgingly.
I don't want to.
I
But I am
begrudgingly ascend the
Going
whale.
to. I am going to remain invisible and be as annoying to locate as possible.
Yellow.
Love to see it.
Posey, are you up here or?
Yep.
Okay. You still got the, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want someone else to hold on to it, or have you got it?
Nope. I got it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
That is not the highest hurdle.
I don't. I'd rather I held on to it for a while. Preferably not super long term, but
Well,
if this is going the way I think it is, maybe.
Should we maybe give it back to the big devil in the sky?
Wait, which one?
The legacy.
Oh no.
Taking a sec to...
Because she might try and give it back to them again when we're not here. I mean, why wouldn't she?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, Mm-hmm.
Because, I understand, but
Do you think they would
can't.
Make that you would think they'd make that offer again after?
Okay, hold.
I don't know, but I don't want to risk it. Now that I know what they're for, I get very. If Widdick is like driving, I'll get like right up to Runara and I'll be as quiet as I can. And I'll say, they're a family, and they'll put each other above everyone else. And that's very heroic, but it's not right. So I'm gonna hold on. I don't wanna hold on to it, but I don't trust them.
How about we'll split it? You carry it for a bit, I'll carry it for a bit, then you carry it for a bit. Share the load.
Yeah, I'll hold on to it for now, but later, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't want to hold on to it for super long because I saw what they did to Widdick. Sorry if Widdick can hear me. I'm trying to be quiet, but if you can, I'm sorry that you got beaten up that one time. But yeah,
Wait, but I don't want you to get beaten up for holding it.
Oh no, and I don't. Me neither.
I think I should take it.
No, I'll hold on to it for a second.
I think I can take a hit, a punch.
I'll give it to you. I will. Just for a second, I need to know where it is.
Okay.
But I will. I will give it to you in a bit. I promise.
What she's saying is giving it to you is putting a knife in your back later. It's like, look at it.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Alright, what I missed?
That was so in character.
Widdick, just focus on driving, it's okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're doing such a good job.
Yeah, I'm just not paying attention at all.
No, it's
Fantastic!
Because we were
In
trying.
character, we were trying not to.
We were trying for Widdick not to hear us.
It worked out.
You saved us rolling.
Yeah. I would just like. I'm still invisible, but I'll just like take Runara's hand and like shake it, and then wander off again, so I'm not right next to Runara.
Don't go too far.
Ah!
Yeah.
Widdick, very quickly, it starts fading away from you.
Yeah,
This
Widdick's
market
like,
terrifies.
why is my locate object on the floor?
Anyway.
We love to see it. Can we take a quick break if everyone's okay with that, please? Because I need to go do something really quickly.
Yeah, sure, we
Yep,
can take
that's
a break
fine.
now.
take a break, and we'll be back in a little bit, probably about 5-10 minutes or something.
Okey doke.
And we're back.
Welcome back. So, we left with the party preparing to Wittick, Renara, and Posey making their way back to the Keep of Neverwinter, in which the rest of the party and Legacy are waiting for them along with the King Sildar Hallwinter. So, you two had your conversation. Is there anything happening back at the Keep while these guys are on their way to you?
I'm busy being sad.
That's a free action.
The big window that looked out on Neverwinter, is it openable?
It's currently being repaired. There's portions where there's drapes over it, trying to get, something set up there, because otherwise it's a massive draft.
Well, pick up.
It's a leading question.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
What's your alignment there, Paladin?
Something. What's alignment again?
That's still better than Thane's. Right. So, do you park your whale and make your way?
What I was going to say was, if Lo notices Kika,
Somewhere between his panic
will-
attack, he might do.
he will nuzzle up Kika.
And there's moments where I think to myself, oh yeah, your brother's here as well. And as this is happening, he's kind of just like, from both sides, you have one feathered and one furried brother, both like at either side of you, just go boom. All around you are familiar parts, total tarts, total tarts. As he leans in and just starts trying to tickle underneath your wing.
She's just still sad. I don't know what to say to you. She's still sad.
Oh, this is a code red. Okay, so I'm just gonna and he just like wraps around like I'm just gonna vibe here. We're good.
Just
eventually you hear.
She just cuddles up.
I know it's a lot. Kind of had no real good answer coming into this. If we go one way, we get someone back. At the same time, whoever we got back could go, what were you thinking? Because they're heroes. And they know that sometimes you've got to do your best to help everyone. I'm glad I didn't have to make the choice.
She was doing the. She was doing the exact same. She did.
Oh, so being a massive bitch.
Yeah.
Well, you're past two of them now already. With this track, you're going to get through them all in no time. Fucking boom.
So. Oak just buries his face in his knees.
After a moment, as you guys are there, a hand just like steps over, wraps around Kerrick's shoulder, and Legacy is just to the far side between, like, so it's Loyalty, Kika, Kerrick, Legacy, and she leans in. I need you to do something for me. And he kind of like almost begins pulling away, but I need you to do something for me. And she pulls him away from you guys as you're there. And she begins quietly whispering to him in a corner. And he's not masking his own expression. He's just going, no. No. Absolutely not.
When she pulls him away, there is like the extending like of the hand from Kika quietly of just like doesn't want him to go away, but he gets pulled away anyway.
She begins, like, half pleading, demanding, kind of like leaning in. I need you to. No. I said I would never. You're not my mother. You don't get to make that choice. Your Majesty. And there's a moment of frustration, but also understanding. Worth a shot. As the whale, most or less, looms outside the window.
But just imagine the whale just. What you guys doing in there? Having fun?
Having a family crisis? Can I join in? They're already trying to fix the frame on this thing. We don't have space for a whale. Please do not have the whale go through the door. Go through the window, even. Anyone who
park it.
Possible.
Go to the dock with that thing if you can, I guess. And if you think you have the capacity to do, as Sildar just begins speaking, if you think you have the capacity to do what this individual here has suggested, and at this point, he has more or less made his entire, like, across the table, and is basically next to Sildar, but still enough of a distance away that he's out of arm's reach of Sildar, as like a glare coming in from Legacy as he did, kind of understanding where he is. Hussar is just that little bit away from. And he was like quietly speaking to Sildar whilst everything else is going around this. If you have the capacity to remove that as soon as possible, I don't know what it is, but no machination of hers should be left unresponded to. And eventually there will need to be a situation where you go from responding to her to acting against her. Acting rather than reacting. For now, take that piece off the board. And Hussars, as you guys are like more or less outside the window, and there is spaces where the window frame is not in yet that people could easily step through. Like, bear in mind, this is like a 40-foot wide thing that there's definitely space for the fin to lie in and be a step way up. Hussar looks around. I thought there were heroes in Faerun. Why are you sending children to war? And you can see that there's a look, not of frustration or anger, but of just regret on Sildar's face. And Legacy speaks, they're all we have. What of you? Are you not a great Arcanist? Could you not assist in this? Have you just been relying on heroes to keep your realm intact? I mean no insult to this, but this is a flaw. A massive flaw. One that she would exploit if you were to leave this open. You cannot rely on just children alone. This is too much. Unfortunately, she dragged you into a war that has been going on for many hundreds of years. My families, my fathers, my mothers have all fought in this. We've known nothing but it. I would hope that you'd not put all the weight on the children's shoulders.
King will chime in. Although we may be children, it is also important that the Queen protects the King. Since we're talking about removing pieces from the board, a good offense and defense is needed. Our resources are stretched thin. Your assistance is always valued. But you must understand the situation we are in.
You mentioned to me previously, as he turns to Legacy, you may have some means of aiding in the creation of soul cages. If you did, that may alleviate some of my people who exist in the plains. that alongside us assisting you in showing you where or how to locate enclaves and creches, you may be able to respond to Gith here. If we both have a common enemy in this sense, and Great Gith is still gone, this could be a way for us to work together. But for now, if you are, and he looks to you, the group, if you are all comfortable doing what is being asked, then I give you my best of luck and wishes to you if you do. I don't know what you'd expect, and I hope you are safe.
I mean, we haven't got much of a choice, because...
You always have a choice. You're not slave to no one here.
Well, the people need help, and we're here to help them, so we're slaves to our own heroic whatevers. I'm not good at words, okay?
Slaves to your own tendencies.
Yeah.
Just do not let yourselves be used like animals with instincts and habits that can be aimed and directed. And at this point, he is side-eyeing Legacy as he's saying this. If you do it for your own desire to do so, and helping people. Do not be forced to do this by anyone. And good luck to you. May Gith watch you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to help us, by the way.
I may have had to jump between two planes to do it, but it worked.
Okay.
By the way, Wittek, when you came back with the whale, you could just see the shimmer, just like the fake shimmer, but on the top you could see Gith on top of the ship, but beneath of it was shimmering to be invisible, as if to say you could not see the rest of it. You could see the flag above it, but that was it. Important note that I forgot. That's why descriptions are my lowest point on my D&D stat line.
I see, you have a ship as well that does this. As I point to the whale, as it has like a different colors.
Ours is more arcane and stolen than yours, which may have been potentially gifted, and is more of a, if this beast were a natural creature.
Okay, well...
Right, who wants to go into the water?
I shall begin the ritual, and I do a ritual water breathing. It will take 10 minutes.
Okay. Damn it, Stacy.
On point, though.
Both of them, dunk, and...
Light of the Navigator.
So, after 10 minutes of casting and a lot of an awkward silence as Legacy is just glaring over at Azar. Probably she is not being told go fuck yourself in a polite manner in a long time. And two different green people today have insulted her.
Unless it's around Christmas, you never really want green and red in the same room.
Aren't Gith yellow?
Teal, yellow, depends. It's very... I kind of want it to be more like Tieflings, where people go, oh, it's like red and purple to human colors. And I'm like, nah, bitch, rainbow.
I mean, Hazar at least definitely
He looks green.
Yeah, that looks green in the picture.
Like most Gith, I will say this, the Gith Yankee you've encountered do look yellow, except for a very select, rare few. Hazar does look green. So
I am going to spend this 10 minutes on the whale, being very quiet. Just sat, trying to be very small.
Thank you for reminding me.
and not to be seen by someone with true sight.
Yeah.
So many things I could say about the current royalty, but I won't.
might.
Because you know that several portions of your soul might not be ripped apart.
No, not because of that. Because war heroes make good first kings of lands.
Look, when you've got that force of personality next to you, it's easier just to go, yes, honey. So, after 3 minutes of glaring and the ritual being prepared, you're just on the whale, your eyes are closed, and
They are very much open, and I am staring into the room.
you're staring into the room as she looks out the window, up the whale, down there you are, and has eyes locked on you. Right, I'm getting that back down, she says to everyone as she steps up.
Rather not. Shit, I'm not judging. Maybe I'm gonna back away.
You back up the whale.
Daisy, do you mind? Can we just hold on to it for now, just for this?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, fuck.
You're taking this bullet for me. I don't know why.
Bang bang. Because that's what heroes do. She looks back to you. I intend to put that away somewhere where it will be very isolated and very heavily sealed, to the point where anyone who does unlock it will cause such a mess that it and whatever is in the general vicinity will die.
But also where someone who could potentially be swayed if this deal came along again to recover it and use it in that deal, potentially. Would it not be best kept in the hands of people that don't have emotional ties into the current endeavor?
She looks like she's about to turn to you to say, and you just hear from the room, she's right. And there's Sildar behind you. As much as it is painful to admit, because it hurts us, because we're invested, there's a reason I looked around the room when I knew what I might end up doing. I don't know what they will do if they have them, and I'm trying to weigh my family, my children, and people who I love against all of my people who I also love. I can't make choices like that, because if I do, it'll be a selfish one. I would request a third option. You are pursued whenever you have it. We cannot be trusted to keep it. There are archmages who Legacy used to be affiliated with, but she has since revoked her membership. They
revoked it, or it was revoked?
Varys possessed Kay. I wish that happened in real time.
I saw it burst through!
Second for second.
Saw it burst through!
How much is the husband going to talk shit on his wife after she got called?
No, it's way funnier if Legacy just never admit.
I literally saw the ripple go through Kay's body of like.
I still don't honestly think she let Varys take it. But who knows? She might have.
Who won the fight? The woman who was heavily pregnant, or the blade singer who was level 17? Well, at the time you were 17.
Oh shit, we also still have to go to his house. Fuck.
Yep.
Don't know this yet.
Got that fun stuff.
I'm just gonna very quietly, because I'm assuming me and Legacy are out on the whale, and everyone else in the room.
She has kind of isolated you.
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
I'm also on the well, but probably
like on the
behind,
fin.
now behind.
Yeah, like it basically goes like
Legacy
Posey
went
on the
past
far
me,
end of the
but yeah,
whale.
Yeah.
Posey on the far end of the whale. Legacy, Lunara, Sildar is at the bottom by the fin, which is basically just the gangplank up.
I'm just gonna
And I'm at
very
the front, just arriving.
quietly, just hopefully to where Legacy can hear me, and I'll turn visible because clearly everyone knows where I am.
Well, Sildar clearly fucking doesn't. Only one person does, but he can follow the train of eye.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go. You clearly love your children, Your Majesty, and that's a credit to you. But there's a lot of children down there.
Make a persuasion check.
Shit.
With advantage.
Shit. That doesn't necessarily help me.
You have luck.
I do. I have a lot of luck. Oh my god. I thought I used it all. I went into this being like, I burned everything last session, didn't I?
No. Just your escapes.
Yeah, I'll luck that. I don't want to die.
You ready to fucking die? Yeah, I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me.
Persuasion is not the charisma-based stat I'm good at. 20's better.
Hey, there we go.
You say this quietly. Runara, you hear it, and Wittig, you do too, because you're the two passive perception ones on the whale. I was about to say in the room. You're on the whale. After jaw tensed, shoulders raised, breathing is noticeably absent except for the sharp inhales and exhales briefly at points. She just like sits down onto the back of the whale and cross-legged and just begins rubbing into the temple and the side of the face. Heroes. Hold on to it. But I will message some of my former colleagues who are neutral to me and in the favor of the protection of Faerun as a whole, who are definitely proficient in being able to lock away things like that. I will also give them the other one. They'll have that one locked away before you come. And there's this moment where there's just a sharp inhale that's just want to see my kids. But everyone down there has kids too. You're right. Fucking heroes, you're right. Hold on to it for now. I need to do a little bit of a reevaluation. Hold on to it for now. And please ensure whatever my words and anyone else's cause to fall into that bay does not threaten the people. We don't have much left to give you in regards to aid, potions, gold. But I'll see if I have anything from some of my friends that they could give over as a boon towards you to assist you. Go right ahead. And she just floats off the fucking whale. For a moment, you kind of like have that jolt, like Runara, you might have that jolt forward. She kind of just like off the whale, but then just walks back down.
King probably
Do the
wraps up
eye,
a ritual at this point.
and do the eye emojis to Posey.
And as I wrap up my spell, I turn and say, "You are becoming closer to being a queen."
Shut your mouth.
And then you drift further away.
I've had a day. Okay?
Unfortunately, we don't get to.
Hey King, you done your spells? We go.
Let's.
Kairk moves to go up onto the whale as well. Well, I'm going
Then
fucking...
You're still
Matt.
injured. That's the reason we came here to Neverwinter.
I can be helpful underwater. Maybe.
You can be helpful in the sky.
I can message you from above saying, there's a giant ass ship going your way, or that's a big looking blob that's on the way over to you. I can do that.
You're also a nice glowy target.
Yeah, I'm
Rather-
kind of
Here.
I'm kind of just a floating orb in this. Fuck, you're all having good points. Not just to me as well, but to them as well too. Oh, okay. I will give moral support from the harbor.
No, maybe that's still too close.
Maybe you should go back to bed with those stuff off.
I can't-
I'm just playing, I'm just joshing you.
Who's Josh?
Oh, you don't know Josh?
You not met Josh? Halfling fella?
Probably be off. The spell only works for 24 hours.
Oh,
Oh,
only 24 hours.
Oh,
Well,
we're on
it's
such a
we gotta
time
go.
limit.
Let's go, guys.
We gotta go now. We gotta go.
Is there anything you want to?
What you want to do?
Ooh, people are jumping
What's
all over the
happening?
place.
My thing messed up.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Keck.
I think Discord had a bit of a hard attack.
There.
Right. Is everyone aboard? Alright, I guess.
Bluebird, you don't have to do this if you don't want.
We're coming back.
Of course I have to do it. She just turns and walks onto the whale.
You hear the Bluebird? Let's go.
Riddick. Who else has a perception above? I know you have a passive one above 15. Who else has a passive perception above 15 here? I think
Serenus?
Serenus, Runara.
Okay.
15 here.
15 off of you. Serenus, I'm checking in because you're the druid.
Yeah.
What's
That's-
your passive perception?
If I remember correctly, it's 14. Let me just double check. Yeah, 14.
Okay. So I will say to Wittick and to King, as you guys are getting onto the whale and Kika, wow, sorry. Kika says
It happens. It
It
happens.
happens. Fucking birds. As Kika gets onto the whale, Kirk is glaring at Legacy. If a boy could shoot daggers. There's going to be a very interesting conversation when you guys get out of earshot. You guys away from the thing. Turns towards the bay. And by the way, you just hear from like below you guys, like at the level. That's so fucking cool. And there's guards who are around going, do we shoot? Do we not shoot? It's what the
I just like pull a massive banner out. This is a Witek vehicle. Do not shoot.
What is it with me having a running joke of every guard who looks goes, fucking Witek?
Yeah. Because they know who I'm the fucking piece of being, like the who I work with.
The piece of being.
You're 1/8. You're 8
Well, because
13ths of a person.
the thing is that he has tinkered on me, so I am part of. I am a being that he has made of.
Yeah, you are made of the You are made by potentially the most chaotic person in the universe.
Yes, exactly.
This is coming from someone who had a party with a WoW mage in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you guys make your way over the bay. The water pours right past you as the bubble whoops off.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I presumed you were activating it.
Yeah.
You were going to have a very hard first lesson.
Yeah, I've basically cast the water breathing thing in case we need to get out of the wheel for some reason.
Yeah.
Which you most likely will, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Or I'm made to get out of the wheel.
how on God's green earth do you guys intend to find this?
Fucking question.
Is that Brian Wissett?
Yeah, it's Blind Breasted out of
No!
yeah, I'm thinking without that's
How
Flash.
do
that's what which is like
Yeah,
it's just
Flash
like
Gordon.
dive.
Right. Dive!
how do we intend anything?
How do you intend to
I
find...
have 0 ways to find this dude.
There's
we
no
don't know what it
chance
is.
this is a Fae Fiend or an undead, is it?
No.
Yeah, I figured out.
Oh,
If only we knew people that live on the water that might.
Oh,
help.
wait. That's a very important question. Why are you asking that? What abilities are you attempting to get a ping
I
off of?
have the tracking thing, the Blood Hunter tracking. Alternatively, no, that wouldn't know anything.
Tell
about
me, what is the radius on it? What is the effect?
It's
What
like
is the-
Oh.
it's literal tracking, isn't it? It's not a magical thing.
Yeah, you have advantage on survival checks to track Fae Fiend undead, or an int checks to recall information about them. Alternatively, there's no way.
What are you thinking?
Hang on, let me check.
I only have detect magic, but that's a very small radius, so it won't help with this regard.
Yeah, I can do the ritual of detect magic like already ping every 10 minutes, but
Radar.
would Divine Sense get anything?
That would be only a 60 radius for until the end of your next turn. So it's well, it's not 60. It's something around that ballpark, but
60 feet. Yeah.
it's 60. Given the fact that you'd be, bear in mind you do lose light the deeper you go, and this looked like something big, so it probably went deep. The bay does have like it goes down maybe 100 foot, then to maybe like. Bear in mind you're probably on top of the whale, which is like 20 or 30 foot up, so you're probably like 130 foot down.
Character guys, this is going to be a gift thing, isn't it? Not like a normal thing that we know about.
We never know.
Dancing lights in the bubble to give you all a bit of a view. The
I mean,
world's weirdest
I'll ask the
anglerfish.
question. You might have to look it up though. 58. Did it say what size 58 was?
I hate you to share numbers, man. Fuck.
I know 58. This is not 58.
Not 58. Okay, carry on.
A very good point. Curls gets the internet cookie.
I was like, which one of these things would it be?
SCP 58.
If it's gonna be any of them, it would be 58. Thankfully, it's not that, because that would be bad.
Yeah, do you want to fight Fish Gregor?
No,
That's how you fight Fish Gregor.
I don't want to fight Fish Gregor, thanks. Or Shark Gregor.
You sure, sure.
You joke.
Wolf Shark.
Because I remember that out of character. Didn't she summon this when she was talking about Gregor? Am I losing it?
Yes, because she was. We
You're
was
saying
correct.
it could kill him. Supposedly.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool. Great.
It could
I'll
kill
watch
your
her.
dog, is what she
Yeah.
uses the term. because the dog that ate through several very important people to Black Hill was like, something better kill that bitch. I gave you all silver swords.
I don't have anything that would help in this instance.
The
Not
only thing I've got to help is I will cast guidance on whoever does an ability check to look for this thing.
If you are using your ability to track things, Posey, whilst it's difficult, given the fact that it's underwater.
It's only Fey Fiends and Undead. So it's not.
I know, but let me describe what you guys see when you do get down there, because you do go out into the bay, and it is hundreds of feet wide, and maybe even nearly out a kilometer before it actually drops out from the shallows, shall we say, out into the ridiculously deep water beyond the bay. And there is the wreckages of ships here, some of which are decades old, some of which are probably as fresh as the battle at Neverwinter most recently. But there are dotted about the bay, there are wreckages of ships. There are small coral outcroppings, or bits of seabed coagulated together kind of thing. There is fish life here, but it is definitely the thing of everything gets the fuck out the way of the whale. Be worried about the thing underwater that's trying to go for a whale.
If this is a big thing, would it be smarter to be above water? How clear is this water?
Bearing in mind you're currently you'd probably get maybe 40 to 50 feet down, you could probably see it, but the issue is that if you're above water and it's deeper than 50, you haven't a chance of seeing it.
But I'm thinking we're more likely, instead of trying to find a thing from that's on eye level with us, we're more likely to be able to see discoloration in the water where it's less shallow than we are going to be when we're already under the water trying to look out.
Well,
if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying, but to explain what I'm kind of insinuating when it got dropped down, the seabed beneath you is 160 foot down from the surface of the water, so you wouldn't be able to see too deep down. And if it's smaller than what it could be, the max to 50 foot down, that means if something's not 80 foot big, if it's not an outcropping, or it's not wedged in a bit of coral from above, you may not see it. You can try.
I was just thinking in terms of the coloration of the water where it's less shallow. If there's a really obvious almost like a sandbank, but it's a weird shape.
Yeah, it's why does that look like an underwater crater?
It's well, that bit will just be darker or lighter than stuff surrounding it. But that would be if we went above water. I'm mostly fielding that to the out-of-character party than the in-character party, because Posey probably wouldn't think like that.
Well, fielding to the out-of-character party, can anyone talk to fish?
Druid.
Serenus.
We've been talking in private conversation while you guys have been discussing this, trying to get ideas.
Unfortunately, I do have that spell, but it's not prepared, so I can't.
You could turn into a fish and talk as a fish to other fish.
Technically, you can't.
Yeah.
Because as a druid, you keep your mental stats and you don't learn new languages, so...
And can you transform into stuff with a swim speed jet?
He can do that, because that's only level 4. That's only level 4 swim speed.
I wasn't sure when that was.
And for him, he unlocks them earlier because he's a moon druid.
My other thing that has came to my mind is I'm trying to think of certain fish and or animals that have some kind of either sonar kind of thing to it, and I think there is a type of mammal that has it.
Just pointing to the whale.
Yeah, but I mean, can you communicate with the whale and find out what the hell is
We need to find a rock.
Yeah, can you communicate telepathically with the whale? Because then the whale could talk to fish.
No.
So if you find your sonar, it ain't gonna have to tell you. I found some over here, mate.
I will say, whilst whales use echolocation. The sky whale doesn't.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I'm trying to.
To be fair, I don't actually know if the Druid wild shape thing is a thing or not. That might have to be a sage advice.
In regards to if they can talk to fish. I would rule it cool and say it makes perfect sense. You turn into you go.
Listen, my assumption was because your mental stats are the same, you wouldn't gain a language, but I genuinely don't know. So that's why I'm like, maybe you should.
Given the
maybe
fact that fish don't usually, I'll give the ruling of given that most animals don't have a language as their tag, they could potentially, like some animals are intelligent enough to understand it but not convey it.
Mm.
If you want to go fishy and try to fish communicate to other fish to go, you see a motherfucking thing like this right here? I'm like, oh my god, there's one over there. You could try. Just make sure you turn into the right type of fish to the right kind of thing to ask the right kind of question, and you don't get eaten by one.
I'm trying to think.
It's like a shark leading into like a coral bed going, hey!
Put it out there as well. It might be a good sign if we don't see any fish. Because I imagine if a massive thing disturbed the ocean around here, everything would have got the fuck away from it.
Do you want to try and search for something based on that?
Can I look into the ocean and see if I can see any fish and if I can identify what type there is, if there is any?
Given the fact that you are a forest druid, bit of a pain in the butt, but I will say that if you see one, you can go, I could turn into that, and just...
Okay, yeah, so do I see...
I will say that there's probably... there are smaller things like around some coral bays that dot around as they go. There are some fish. There are definitely fish that are in, like, say, certain some of the ships that are around some of the wreckages. You know, big obvious free real estate, same as the merfolk.
Okay, so I'm sure we'll return to the party. If we can, like, try to slow down, I'm gonna try. See if we can have some. We can get some directions.
Apply the brakes to your whale.
So, wish me luck, and then with that, I'm going to walk to the edge of where the bubble is and kind of look at one of those fish and wild shape into one of them.
He wild shapes in without fully diving out, kind of splashes against the side of the whale, and then bops out, and quickly gets twisted into like a spiral as you're next to the whale, which is a larger thing moving next to you. So you go, oh, let's just go.
We stopped.
We stopped.
Yes, but there was still a little bit of the draft as it was like stopping and the water was moving around it. So there's just like a moment of a very busy little Serenus fishy. I don't want to say you're a goldfish because druids turning into goldfish don't work out that well.
Also, goldfish don't appear in the wild, and you just turned into a wild fish.
You don't know. I might have
I
died goldfish.
was thinking of like catfish. I was thinking of is like sea bream or something like that, or like some kind of fish like that.
Salmon.
I knew Animal Crossing would come in useful one day.
You pull out the USS Bismarck.
I give it a C+.
No.
Good idea.
Right, so I'm gonna swim up to one of them and just be like, "Hey," and then try and ask if they've seen. Try and describe it as best I can what we're trying to find, really, but not in a very broad sense of it. I don't really think if I get very specific with it, I don't think that fish is gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about." So I'm just gonna say if they know any of big disturbances that have
Make a persuasion check. Straight roll.
I would have guidance before.
Guidance only lasts for a turn, doesn't it?
1 minute.
1 minute. You can use that guidance then.
It can be used once in that minute. Don't think it matters.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
You begin swimming up to them, realizing you made yourself into a much bigger version as them, and like in Finding Nemo, you hear, swim away!
There's always a bigger fish.
That, and there's a giant whale nearby, so they're probably freaking out. Definitely a lot of ducking into some of the corals nearby. And I know, okay, it's so hard for you not to.
Every time you say it, I'm like,
Coral!
Coral.
Coral, that kills people.
Okay, right.
How do you stab her
You
32
shouldn't
times?
stab people, Coral.
Okay, I'm gonna try and I'm gonna try and swim a bit slower, kind of like low down to the ground, and just be a little bit more like casual. So I'm not
What's
like
your passive
intimidating.
perception?
14.
Okay,
And the fish.
you
Oh, yeah,
begin.
it's the same.
Yes, he keeps the same. As you begin like trying to lower yourself down, you do see several discolored patches on the seafloor, and there's an instinct in you going, probably should swim close to one or two of those. So you kind of like float above and away from them. And as another smaller fish swims back by one of those patches, one just opens up and it's a fish. Closes back down on top of it. Don't worry, it would have killed. It would have dropped you out of your fish form, but it would have then immediately died as you turned back into a human and was much too big for its body.
Oh god. Okay, right. I'm just like, oh no. I'm just try to swim away from
I was
that.
half tempted to let it happen, and I was like, nah, the boy doesn't get to do enough. I'm not going to get him eaten by a fucking on the whatever the useless fucking fish on the ground are.
Okay, right.
It's a stonefish.
I'm trying.
All I could think of was a skunkfish.
Are there any crabs around? Maybe.
Time for crab.
Would you like to invest?
Immediately.
I hate both of you. I see you.
It worked in Finding Dory. Maybe it will work for me.
Would you like to make a investigation check or a survival check for crab?
Survival, I think. I am better at persistence.
Please make a survival check for crab.
The crab cycle. There is only one step, and it is crab.
You begin looking around, and you could swear you hear just like the smallest like underwater muffled noises, and you like turn like over a little bit of the rock and like pass a little bit, and you just see like three. You see three crabs moving in direction. As you move over, they just stop and drop whatever they have in their hand, like these small little glowing bits of coral, and just look at you.
And then I'm just going to kind of greet them and ask
wave a fin.
Yeah, just like, you know,
You
like,
interrupt
hi.
wave. What do you want?
Hello. I am looking.
You want big fish.
Why, thank you. I am wondering if you've come across anything, kind of odd in the ocean recently. Maybe like a big disturbance or something like that. We're trying to look for directions to it.
Please roll a persuasion check to persuade the crab.
Ruins.
While he's doing that, King's on the wheel saying, "Why did the crab cross the road?"
What's with persuasion rolls today? What is wrong with me?
The crab looks at you and goes, "Will big fish leave if we tell you things?"
Yes.
The crabs look at you. Big thing-landed water over there. And he just like points like in the distance. It said Fred flying 20 meters away. And there's just like one crab that's like on his back over in the corner going, "Help. I am unpleasant. It is unpleasant here."
I am unpleasant.
I am
Oh,
unpleasant. I want a shirt that just has a crab
Okay,
upside down and it says "I am unpleasant."
I am going
That's the new meme, everybody.
I'm going to swim over to that crab that's unpleasant.
Please clip that, Curls. Please clip that.
I am going to swim over to that crab
I am
that's unpleasant.
unpleasant.
And I'm going to look at it and go, "I can help you get up. However, in exchange, I would like to have some information about something."
Please attempt to persuade this crab.
Come on, third time's charm. Third time's charm.
Come on, you offered to help him.
With advantage, roll again. One more roll. Straight roll. Go on.
Right, with advantage.
No, this is a straight roll, so this would be the equivalent to the second roll. So just roll
Yeah.
it once more.
Okay, can somebody give me some faith? Like, somebody just
You do have guidance.
No,
Come on.
because all
come
of this
on.
probably took longer than
No,
a
you
minute.
can only
So-
use that once.
All this took longer than a minute.
Well, he has.
Come on,
Everyone,
Come
everyone channel it.
Oh, come on, Ollie, roll above a 10.
Well, you are trying to persuade a crab who is on his ass.
I'm just
It
trying.
doesn't take much. What do you wish to know of unpleasant crab?
Okay. I'm going to, like, first of all, help him up first. So he's onto his front.
Yes, thank you.
I...
As you help it up, it just pinches you.
Ouch.
This is why I'm unpleasant crab.
Nice. I am looking for a
Nice.
big
I
disturbance.
am looking for.
Yeah, I'm looking for a big disturbance in the ocean. Something that fell in very large into the ocean. Do
He
you
points
know
one
where?
of his pincers out. That way. Go that way. It is there.
Thank you.
Yes. I will guide you. He just like points forward while he's still pinched onto you. I will guide you this way.
Lovely, thank you.
Why did the crab cross the road? It didn't. It used the sidewalk.
Is it gonna go me the whole way, or is it kind of in the general direction of it?
He's just pointing in a vague direction. You guys see Serenus as a fish talking to crabs, lifting a crab that had been knocked over in the sand. The crab pinched him and is now pointing in a direction. He is now swimming in that direction. Would you like to follow Fish Ollie being pinched by the unpleasant crab?
Hell yes.
Yep.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons game.
You love my pun.
I love Dungeons
What
and
is my
Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons game? So, after about probably about 30 minutes,
My
the crab hanging off of your mouth. Thankfully, this is your fish form, so it does not cause actual damage to your real body. And even, I'm just going to pretend you just like are a reskinned version of like an average shark in regards to the stat block.
Yeah,
But you were just pinched and aimed in a direction, so you just begin moving your way over. The whale follows, and this is the equivalent of like having a police car in front of a fucking Humvee truck. In that it's like one is the guide in front, but the thing behind it does not need a bodyguard.
I feel like
You're the mini boss before you fight the Humvee.
I feel like physically I'm not taking damage, but mentally I'm going to remember this damage.
Thankfully, you are a fish, so there's times where you just think to yourself, just be fish, and your brain just goes blank for a minute, and then you go.
Just go, yes, keep
swimming,
swimming.
Swimming,
You just watch
swimming,
guys as well as
swimming,
he's swimming, as he just seems to like be bobbing side to side as he goes. The crab is swinging as he does, and he just begins turning blue as he's just mumbling to himself with a little white dot at the back. It's really weird because you do not hear anything, but it's clear he's got a tune in his head.
He's bobbing to a rhythm.
He's vibing.
Does it ever
Bobbing
occur to
along.
you guys that our lives are really weird?
Bobbing along on the bottom of the beautiful brown
So beautiful.
sea. What's the chance to take it?
This is the musical interlude.
I'm just keep
Crab
singing
doesn't have
that
to make an
now.
accent.
Damn it, Narrow! You look at me and I'm wearing a Pleasant t-shirt.
Oh, he's doing that as well. Oh, I'm also doing the same thing.
Of course, it has one brain cell. Shared use.
They go to
Yourself right
save Neverwinter. No, they go to get crab merch.
Crab.
Okay.
Time for crab.
God,
So,
tell us what terrible thing fucking lied in this ocean.
Yeah,
kills you all. It's for the best.
We saved Neverwinter and all we got was a stupid crab shirt.
Don't fucking tempt me. Do not tempt me.
I hate us. I hate all of us.
I love us. We're fantastic.
I love you all as well, which is why I intend to kill you off slowly with trauma. So, after about 30 minutes of travel, behind the whale, or behind the crab-led fish, Eventually, you see the wreckage of a very old ship, and a portion of the ship has actually just been caved inward on one side, and the whole ship seems like there's pieces of barnacles and other bits only on a portion of it, as if some of it was underneath the sand but had been shifted up, and there's nothing, it's just clean underneath it, but it's a darker shade than what is currently on the front of the top of it. And barnacles and other small creatures have just begun clinging to it over time. The portion of the ship has just been caved in, and you can see in the ground, maybe about 20, maybe 30 foot wide and high, like almost like a radius of just itself. It's just this rocky outcropping, which has just crushed everything in like a cannonball that just strikes into the side of a cart or something similar, where there's just splinters of wood all around it, and it's just embedded in the center. With that, you begin moving closer and closer to it. Serenus, do you dispose of Crab?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of knock the crab off, and just kind of just nod to him and say thank you, and then
I will get you later. I will eat you all.
I'm gonna stay in my fish form though, so I can try and explore.
And there goes the real villain of the campaign, Unpleasant Crab.
But I'm gonna stay in my fish. How long will I be able to stay in my fish form for?
It is an hour per level of druid, which is fucking ridiculous. But you can basically stay in there for like 6 hours if you fucking want. It's either 6 or 3. I'm not sure if it's half or if it's the full number of levels.
Either way, I still have some time left in it.
You could spend most of your day fish.
That's fine. So I'm gonna stay in this form and kind of go for and explore through the ship, see if I can maybe see if there's any like air pockets or anything like that, or something of that kind in there.
Make a ship investigation check. This will be using your stats for int because you are still got the mental faculties of you.
Yep.
It's better.
It's 2 digits.
It's better than before.
So you begin moving around the ship. And as you move yourself into the side of the ship, even underwater, you are deep underwater. The light is still piercing down, but it's not. It's like dim, is the only way I can describe it. It's not too cold because you're still in like the bay side of it. The water's still warmer than it would be at this time, deeper out into the full sea. All the warmth just leaves your body immediately. But not so. I would say there's the wreckage of the ship, and then there's what destroyed the ship, which is just like a large rocky outcropping. Do you investigate the ship or the outcropping?
I think I'll do ship first because I feel like the outcropping is something that we can all investigate because it's kind of out there kind of thing. I feel like the ship is something that's one of in fish form and actually can swim around without issues of air. I think it'd be better for me to try and see if I can explore any nooks and crannies of the ship.
Okay. So going into the ship, you begin like going around and you can see almost polished clean on the ground bones. This is an old wrecked ship, and you do see the portion of someone's rib cage that had been impaled into the side of the ship by a sword, and the sword is still bedded into the rib cage. As the skeleton is just kind of like rib cage is there, the head is rolled off and is somewhere else. The arms have anything sinew that was there has been picked away by the maggots and the carrion crawlers at the bottom of the sea. You continue to move around, and within the ship, you begin seeing more bodies, more from the wreck that this ship used to have. And you're not sure if you can count. You begin just like saying, okay, well, what does everything have? Pelvic bones, skulls, different shapes, sizes. There's like maybe 6 or 7 skeletons left on this ship from those who previously had been. However long ago the ship may have sank, but they're out in the open where there's no... You can't get into the captain's quarters, which would have been still inside the wreck of it itself. That's still like locked. The door itself is locked. Yes, Nemo, there's a reason I was laughing earlier when we were making memes about you do not recognize the bodies in the water. So, as you're in there.
The door to the doors to the captain things, is there anything like anything noteworthy on it that I can see? Like, is it a big lock? Is there a sigil on it? Like, anything like that? Is it, or just a door?
Okay, so you kind of like fish swim back to get a full perspective of it with like your side eye of it, because your eyes are on the side, which is weird. You're like getting this weird vision, like, oh, I'm not used to seeing this much shit. I'm used to seeing this much. You're looking, and it's basically like 2 hands are more or less like it's like 2 pieces of board, and as if like a carved hands are like portions of like the connection to it, and the handles themselves creeping in. So if you were to treat them as just 2 doors like this, they're clumped in like that around it, with the handles just like these long, heavy knockers at the bottom that can be pulled and drawn out. I should not look okay whenever I describe things. I shouldn't. It's just bad for my health.
When you describe something as 2
I know! You terrible man! I love you. You terrible man. Give me your vaccines, I want them.
Okay, with that, I'm going to...
Fishy swim.
I'm going to swim back to the vial and put my findings to the...
Make a fishy stealth check.
Oh, God.
I'm going to say it's going to be just a straight roll a d20. Just make a straight roll d20, please. Because fishy are not sneaky.
Fish our friend.
Why the hell
Not
am I
food.
doing
Not
good
food?
on stealth? Nothing else.
Well, sometimes it's important. You make your way back to the ship without issue.
I can only imagine him swimming back and then just basically.
Just gonna like
Enjoy your
lean.
little swim.
I'm just going to just put a hand up, kind of like a hand up over like 5 fingers, like. Okay, right. And then I will report. I would kind of describe the bodies, the amount of bodies I kind of saw, the swords, the weird outcropping, and then kind of give as best description I can to the door itself. You know, with the interlocking hands, kind of designs. Is anyone aware of anything like that? Does that come to anyone's minds?
I mean, I'm pretty
Anything like
sure a sailing ship wasn't what our friend dropped out of the sky. Also, not what we're looking for.
I have a feeling it's probably the outcropping.
It's very intuitive. I think you might be right.
For all we know, the sailing ship is a cursed artifact. We honestly have no idea what we're looking for.
Yeah, we don't want to go near any cursed artifacts. Maybe just check out the outcropping.
But the outcropping.
Goodest answer of any.
I do understand the outcropping, but I'm still very confused about this door. It could lead to something that could help us. It could be anything there.
Das, for shits and giggles, because I used to, at least for a while, live in the docks in Neverwinter, are there any, like, stories about a sunken treasure out in the Bay of Neverwinter?
Make a history check.
The Neverwinter
Cozy.
equivalent of the flying bloody.
Yes, a stat I'm famously good with.
Picturing now, it's gonna be
something I'm just
it's gonna be
absolutely full
it's gonna
of.
be 20. It's gonna be 20. I'm guaranteeing it's gonna be.
Oh!
Told you. Did I just guarantee
Manifest.
it?
Hey, Ollie,
Why can't you manifest that for yourself?
Could you do that more often, please?
He was saving the energy to give it out to you when you spirit bombed.
I was just like, I'm guaranteeing this is gonna be 20.
Why
He was
didn't you do
storing
that
up-
when you needed it?
The role that mattered he had, so that's
We
good.
found you in the end.
Wow.
Tell me a story, Das.
Story time.
So, I really want to say I want to leave it there, but I don't because there's still more to do. So, I will give you this. You are aware that there were many pirating stories, some of which date back 40 years ago to the time where people rumored that the current queen used to be Queen of the Sea, and her ship was the Sea Devil. However, she was not the only one who had a fiendish-based ship at the time, and there was the Sea Demon, who, with their captain, were their rivals. They had fought, stolen each other's ships multiple times, and all that was eventually known about it was once the queen began her terrible song, she sank the ship and everyone on board. A scream that made banshees pale. I will also say the name of the captain of the Sea Demon was Gladwin Swindler Zwain, who, aside from having an image of a massive crab-clawed demon at the front of the ship, at the mast of the ship, did have demon hands for doors, which was apparently a thing. So whilst he did not describe demon hands to you, hands and that, and if you could probably look for the mask, you could probably see if this is or not that ship.
It has just occurred to me that perhaps we should have asked some people at the harbour if they saw anything fall out of the sky.
I mean, if we saw it from the castle, then they would have also seen it.
I'm just thinking it might narrow down our search.
I mean,
We kind of already have.
it might be here.
Who needs that when you have pestering crabs to assist you?
Fair enough.
Understandable. Have a great day.
Okay. Okay, so this is a thing. We could look into it later. It's probably the Sea Demon. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a ship.
Interesting name.
Yeah, she kind of gestures. This is the Queen's handiwork, probably.
The demon of the sea is
Cursed.
The worst lay ever.
But that's
Legacy definitely didn't make that
you
song.
know, we can go looking for treasure later, but the big thing that crashed through it is probably more important.
Yeah, I
perfect,
don't
true.
I don't want to be scavenging around a ghost ship when there's potentially, I don't know, giant
Yeah,
thing.
I'm a big fan of, I'm as much of a fan of like buried treasure and stuff as anyone else, but we kind of have priorities.
Pirates.
True. As said, it's hopefully we're able to find this location again, though. I really don't want my cheek to be bitten off again by that unpleasant crab.
Should we do a circle, Whittick?
Yeah, do look around
Do it up.
around the rocky bits.
Let's see. Whittick, King, make intelligence checks for me, please.
Guidance on Whittick.
How deep are we? Like, how dark is it?
I need it.
You're 130 down.
D4?
Bear in mind, you have a D4. Yes, and King make an intelligence check as well. You're about 130 down. You have dancing lights that King threw up earlier, so you do have light around yourselves as you are, but it's getting a bit later. It's later in the year. It's going to get dark soon. King, everyone is talking about where could this be? When you're looking at a ship that has definitely been disturbed very recently, and a large portion of it has been broken off by something that is currently stood about 80 feet away from you guys, if even. Actually, I'll go about 30 feet away from you guys right now. And it's about 30 foot, like it's almost like not a dome, but it's like a cracky rock. And you like kind of looking at it, like looking around, and it doesn't look like it belongs. There's nothing about it that has any kind of like clear indication of this has been here a while.
In a while.
It'll kill you first.
You can try.
Won't be hard.
That seems to be fresh.
Shall we investigate then?
Nice word you use in there. Fresh.
I mean, everything else here seems less fresh.
Way to put it.
More lived in, really. So
I've just realised that I get my fucking spell slots back on a short rest. I should never mind.
Jose,
So you had a bad day.
Jose, are you taking the rod out there, or are you going to keep it on the well? Or
Well,
bit?
Yeah, I'm thinking you should maybe take it for this bit, just because things hit you less.
They do.
Well, no, things hit you more, but things hit you meaningfully less.
Appreciate the
things attempt to aim at you, but you blind them.
Okay.
More armor.
Sure, I'll take it.
If they hit you, they won't kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it. Go on then.
Do you guys prefer to put it in the bag?
No.
Not right now.
If we are to assume this is
Would one of you two like to have the bag so it's not in my person?
Yeah, mate. Yes.
I take the bag off and hand it to Runar. There.
I'll take it.
Kay has once again assumed the bag of holding of a party.
I never had it in Storm Kings or this.
No, I haven't.
But you managed it.
Okay with
You
it.
managed it.
Yeah, Kay manages it now, but he just didn't have it.
Yeah.
Put the rod in.
The spire of like bag holding.
Put the bag of holding over my shoulder, or however it's held.
You put it onto like the side of your belt. It's literally like a fucking coin purse almost. Just good luck cutting it off because the rope's tied into itself. You know, magic thread and shit.
Yep.
Someone's got to yank that bitch off you.
I'll do that.
Are we of the opinion that this thing is alive?
Yeah, probably.
Almost
Well,
certainly.
You did just describe it as fresh.
It just
With the
makes
description-
name here.
It might not be alive yet.
With the description of fresh, we'll leave that till next week.
Oh, good.
Thank God, I need to pass out. I'm so tired.
Don't look too hard or I'll slap you.
Looks intensifies.
Which way up does this go?
Which way is up and which way is down?
Yes.
Yeah.
This looks awesome.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Oh God. No,
I guess.
Ollie, Nautilus. He's fucking Nautilus.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say it's very rocky. I thought it was Malphite, but
No, I meant Wittig underwater.
oh okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we'll end the stream there.
Thank you all so much for coming. That was fun.
Sure was.
Calling out royalty.
I have the big sad.
God, yes, maybe we'll call out royalty.
Good night, everybody.
Not everyone.
Bye-bye.
See ya.